You've done it now, Yanks. You've captured me. Spelled court-martial.
On the 16th of September 1943, Easy Company arrived in the village of Aldbourne. They had marched the last mile and a half by torchlight. It was already dark and the blackout was enforced. As it was a frosty night, they went straight to their huts at Farm Lane and the stables of Hightown. The following morning, the troops began to explore their new home. David Webster wrote that he was astonished by the village, thinking it like a Hollywood movie set. It looked like the England of a nursery rhyme and children's story, with thatched roofs and roses on trellises. In this video, we're going to take a look at a few of the surviving buildings used by Easy Company, including the Crown Public House, where a command post was housed in the basement. The large house known as Hightown was used as an officers' mess. Within the grounds of Hightown were a number of stables. These were used as accommodation for many of the troops. Much later, the surviving stables were dismantled and shipped to the Currahee Military Museum in Toccoa. Shortly after arriving in Aldbourne, First Lieutenant Dick Winters went for a walk, ending up sitting on the bench at the top of the churchyard. He watched as a couple arrived and placed flowers on a fresh grave. They walked over and sat with him. A conversation started and they introduced themselves as Francis and Louis May Barnes. They quickly found that they got on well, and they told him that the grave was of their late son Leonard, who had been killed whilst serving with the RAF. They invited him to stay with them whilst in the village, an offer he gladly accepted. Just down the road from the church is the Blue Boar public house. The officers banned other ranks from the Blue Boar so they could have it to themselves.
Lieutenant, you gonna shoot lefty all night?
Hey, come on.
Just curious, because he's right-handed.
George. What would I do without George Luz? Boop. Oh!
Goodness gracious.
Two backs, gentlemen.
Is everybody ready? Asked the sergeant of the men. Our hero couldn't answer, so they asked him once again. Then they pushed him out the door while his static line unhooked, and he ain't gonna jump no more. Gory, gory paratrooper. Gory, gory paratrooper. Gory, gory, what a heck of a way to die. He ain't gonna jump no more.
In the back room of the pub is a mural dedicated to the men of the 101st Airbourne, along with several photos and a tribute to Lieutenant Meehan, Easy Company's commander for the jump into Normandy. His plane took a direct hit, with all on board killed. During Easy Company's stay in the village, the non-commissioned officers were billeted in private homes. After Lieutenant Winters' chance meeting with the Barnes family in the churchyard, they invited him to stay with them at their home here above the village shop. He shared the room on the left-hand side with Lieutenant Harry Welsh. The house to the right was formerly the Bell Inn, which was used by the enlisted men. The Aldbourne Memorial Hall was the location for most of the dances and parties held by Easy and the other units staying in the village. Corporal Leonard Barnes is remembered on the war memorial to the men of the village who lost their lives during the conflict. The American military had to pay for the replacement of the hall floor after the war, due to it having been damaged by the soldiers having danced so much.